if you are here, you are going to get, and if you've commented in the question box, that's the key. If you're here and you commented in the question box, you'll get a copy of the actual webinar recording. Remember, it'll be tomorrow before you get it because it does take a little bit for the system to render. And also, in a little while, I'll let you know how you can get a copy of today's slides as well. So there's different time points when the slides will go out. So I'll tell you when to comment then, okay? We're going to talk today about reaching customers online. Of course, using Google since it's the #1 search engine, but the best practices I'm sharing with you here today can apply to anything that you're doing with digital presence and digital marketing. All right, so it doesn't just have to be for Google. Google's just the big dog and the #1 search engine. Everything that I'm talking about today is 100% free. I will touch on ads for just a moment. They're not free, but I'll show you how you can use them to get some free information. Deal? All right, got Darren here. Welcome, Darren. Daisy, welcome. Glad you're here. No worries. You know, I wish we could control the internet. So I'm glad you said that, Daisy. Sometimes I'm going to have that issue too. Right now it's playing friendly with me, but it doesn't always. And hello, Jintel, welcome. This is where, if you want to learn anything else about the different trainings we have available to you, that either the Google partners, so that's the Community Action Agency of Oklahoma City, whatever they have available, and they have access to the Google team because they're a Google partner, they could provide the training to you, or they could ask me to come in, and I'm happy and honored to do that to help them in supporting your success. If you are tweeting or posting, please use the hashtag Grow with Google. It lets the entire Google team know that you're leveling up your skill, and it encourages them to provide more to our Google partners. And then of course you can find me here. If you tag me, I will make sure, or you at least use the hashtag, I'll make sure I retweet and post once I'm off of here, because I deal with my own socials, so nobody's automatically doing it for me. I have to get off of here first to manually do that. I can't coordinate being able to speak and do that at the same time. I'm not my sons who can absolutely do that. Hello, hello. So how do you typically find things right now, right? The answer is right there in front of you. Most people Google. It's a noun and a verb, right? In fact, my 83-year-old father, who is definitely not somebody in the digital age, who gets so excited anytime that I drive up because he says tech support's here. Mom and dad say that the same, and I tell him I'm so far from tech support. But even when he needed something, his best chair broke and he wanted to replace it, he loved the brand. The first thing that he did is when he reached for his phone, and then he looked to see who had the brand locally. He read their online reviews. He saw who would deliver locally, and that's who he decided to do business with. You see, it's no longer generational. It's a complete shift in the way we shop and the way we do business. And we saw that really hard shift happen in March 2020, and it's just escalated since then. So as you see, people do look for information online, even from local businesses, whether or not you're curbside, whether or not you still exist, whether or not you provide delivery, or if you have their actual item in stock. Now, I'm about to do a dangerous thing, and I am going out to go to a video. So if you'll hold on with me just a moment, for those of you on a phone, you will have to switch over to the other audio to hear this, but let me do that real quick. And then when I come back in, I'll just make sure that you can still hear me, okay? So let me go to here.
People ask us all the time, how do I get into work?
Are you there when people, oh, let me make sure there we go. Can you hear me okay, everyone? Just confirm with me in the question box. It's always strange for me on this side when I switch different audio. Perfect. All right. Thank you, Melissa, Jamie. Thank you, everybody. Wonderful. All right. So for you, are you there in the moments when people need you? Are you showing up when they're searching for your product, service, or solution, or even when they don't know that it exists? Are they looking for you? What are they looking for? So today we're going to be talking about how Google search works. We'll also talk about how you can reach customers online with a little bit of search engine optimization, Jamie, your sweet spot. We're going to talk about creating a business profile only a little bit because we just went through a whole webinar on exactly how to set that up, and then also how you can amplify it with online advertising. That's a little bit of the paid portion, but I'm going to teach you how you can use some of that for free. And then of course, this time, because I didn't go over it in the first webinar, I'm going to go a lot deeper into the free resources we have available or you have available to you. Okay, so let's go ahead and dive in. Thank you, Darren, Bonnie, Latoya. Shaquila, Veronica, Sylvia, Jaleesa, thank you very much for letting me know you could hear. Again, everybody, please give me some grace because it's 8-point font for me to look at. We're going to talk to you about how Google search works. So you may know, you go into online, you go on your laptop, desktop, you go into your phone or tablet, and you just go to the Google search. You go right away. In fact, you can do it in the address bar, the URL address bar at the very top. And when you search, you will see that you get some results. First, what you'll see is if there's a business with that name or a business that matches exactly what you're searching for, you'll see the business profile here on that right-hand side, really good prime visual real estate. People can see that. You'll also see at the very top, the very first ad, sometimes you'll see photos. Those are Google shopping ads. So those are paid positions to get there. You don't earn those. You have to pay that with Google ads. The text ad is also usually one text result is an ad, and you can see it here because it's denoted. It's usually a green box right there that says ad, but that's an ad. You pay for that placement, and then there's 10 organic search results. And this is really important for you to earn a spot there by how relevant you are to somebody searching. So the Google algorithm works on 3 things that are happening in the background. Number 1 is how relevant are you to the person searching for you? Are you matching what that person and the words they're looking for when they're searching? So they know that you could match and be relevant to what they're looking for. Number 2 is the prominence score. This is when was the last time you updated reviews? Do you respond to your reviews? Do you have video on your website? When was the last time you uploaded with your video on your website? When was the last time you updated anything on your website? That has to do with your prominence or your quality score. And Google looks at your relevance score and your prominence score to decide where you're going to show up in an organic Google search. But the third part of that algorithm, and know that there are hundreds upon thousands of components of each of these areas that actually deliver and provide these scores. But the third is the distance score. How far are you from the person that's searching? Google is going to deliver who's closest to the person already. So it's already picking that up, and it's going to make that a part of the algorithm. And the only way that you could stand out is if you have all 3 playing in your favor, or you do really, really solid work and strong work with the first 2, and the third one just doesn't matter because you could serve everybody from your location, okay? Or you can go online and ship. Whatever that it is that you do that would make you as far as a possible potential search result to Google. Now, so what you know what's happening behind the scenes is when you type in and search for something, Google bot goes out and looks for it, right? It goes looks to see the information that's relevant, that's prominent, and then distance-wise. It's looking for that good match. My question to you is that a lot of people, or my comment first, is that a lot of people think that Google is the World Wide Web. We are not. Google is the biggest library of the World Wide Web. So we're a library. We keep the table of contents and all the books and the stacks of the World Wide Web. We're not the World Wide Web. So when Googlebot goes out there, it's going into the stacks. You know, if you're going to the library, back in the day, you go to the card catalog, or you do that online now, but I'm going to date myself. You go into the card catalog, everything's filed by the Dewey Decimal System. You go out to the stacks and you look for that book by the numbers. Well, that's what Googlebot is doing. My question to you is, have you entered your website into Google's library because you're in charge of that. I didn't know if you know that. A lot of businesses will rely on Googlebot to find them. And while Googlebot is amazing, it's not foolproof. And I don't want to wait till Googlebot finds me because we need to make cash right now, right? Cash is so important. So I want to make sure as soon as my site's online, I'm going to make sure Google sees it. So I'm going to enter my website in the library. And people who are searching, even if they're only searching for a line at the bottom of the paragraph of my book, my website, they're looking for that and it matches them. I want to make sure Google sees me right away and not wait for Google to find me. So if you entered your site in the library, I'd love to hear it because a lot of people don't even know where the door to the library is. Okay, let me know. So today we're going to be talking about how you can reach customers online and how you can do this through search engine optimization. And I will go back to how you can enter things in the library. But I'd love to know if you know how to enter things into Google's library. Didn't even know that existed. Jamie, you know, a lot of times I know people don't know it exists because I'll hear comments like this and say, I don't even understand why Google can't find me. I don't even know why they found this old page. That's a business I had 2 years ago. That's a blog post I wrote back in 2015. Why is Google finding that? And they don't realize that they can remove pages, that they can add pages, they can update and show what the latest pages are. They can enter their whole site in and let Google know that. In fact, if you stay with me till the end, I'll show you how you can check what Google sees in the library, all right? So I'll show you that if you're interested. Now you don't have to because I know it's late, but if you want to, let me know at the end and I'll be happy to demonstrate that and even show it for your website if you'd like, okay? Absolutely. So as we look at this, how people reach customers online, and I will show you how to get to that library and how to enter things in, look at our organic search results. This is really important, how people find this information. And in our website, we have the opportunity to do things like get creative here and actually take more visual real estate here by highlighting our products, our recipes, our store locator, and everything. This has everything to do with how you set up your website. Now there's a whole other webinar, which is make your website work for you. I'm actually doing that webinar tomorrow, but it talks about your information architecture, how you set up your website so you can be easy for a user to search, but also easy for Google to find all this information and present it this way. And imagine if you had the business profile here, you had that visual real estate, and you had this. When somebody's looking for you, you really have positioned yourself as an expert because, man, it's all about you. That one text ad doesn't even make a difference, okay? So what is search engine optimization? If you're not familiar with that, it is the process of making sure that your website is visible and easy to find by the search engines. This is really, really important because you want people to find you. If you're not visible, people can't do business with you. Now, here's the thing. I will call it, just so you know, because I like to use my own lingo. I mean, call it the West Texas gal in me, but I'll call it Google Juice. What I mean by Google Juice is search engine optimization, okay? Just so you know, in case I blurt that out, I may just say it, and that's what I mean. But you can see it makes you more visible to the search engine. It also makes you more visible to people who are looking for you. It will connect you and also increases sales because when people can find you, they can do business with you. So what we know about this with search engine optimization is content is key. It's really important that it's organized and that you have great, very specific content that is yours. Don't copy everything because if you do that, Google will penalize you, showing that's plagiarism, that you copied another site and now you're not going to show up anywhere. If you receive a penalty whatsoever, it just lowers where you show up in search. For example, if your site's not mobile friendly, there isn't anything that you can do. You're going to show up lower in search if it's not mobile friendly. And when I say mobile friendly, it means that you could read it on a mobile device without pinching and zooming or swiping side to side to finish a sentence. That's a mobile responsive, mobile friendly site. Also, if your site's not secure, if you don't have the S, so when you look at the site, your site address, that URL address is HTTPS://. You want that S. That means you're a secure site and you've proven who you are and the owner of that site. So it's not something that's trying to fish or get information. It's a secure site and your information is then being secured, that's being broadcast to you and that you're sharing. And then also look at your page titles because those are going to be most relevant. What Google does is it looks to see, first of all, if it can find you in your site, then it matches first the name of the page, even the URL. So if you, let's say say you know what one of your search phrases are. And this is really important. You heard me say that earlier, to not just assume what people think is a search phrase for you. For example, during this whole lockdown and pandemic, people are looking for tech support, right? Because this is how we connect now. People were getting on Zoom and Google Meet more than they ever did before March 2020. And because they needed that tech support, people that had tech support companies were trying to get in front of them, but they were using words like tech support. But the number one search phrase, because we don't just search in words now, we search in phrases. We say, hey Google, hey Alexa. But the number one search phrase is, I hate my computer. For somebody looking for tech support, the number one search phrase they use is, I hate my computer. So you see, you may think you know what people are looking for, but you really need to ask them so that you know without a doubt what they're saying and needing in their decision journey. And as they're going through their customer journey and their path to purchase, what is the information that will be helpful to them? If your site, for example, said, have you said today, I hate my computer? Has your mantra during everything that's been happening in the last couple of years been, I hate my computer? Do you wake up in the morning hating your computer, wanting to throw it out the window? Now you are relevant to what somebody's searching because that content on your site is matching. Does that make sense? Perfect. Perfect. Yes, absolutely. Sabrina, Jamie, I'm here to help you guys, so I will stay after if you'd like to take a look at that. It also needs to be organized. I showed you a moment ago the benefit of doing that. Now I'm going to show an amazing free Google tool that you may not even know exists, and it's actually my favorite Google tool of all Google tools, and that's Google Trends. Because I see a lot of people spending a lot of money to see what keywords are and to research those keywords, and you don't need to. I mean, there are great tools out there. I'm a huge fan of all of them, and I use them quite frequently because that's what I focus on, marketing all day long. But Google Trends will let you know what people are talking about and trending around your topic, around your industry, around your community. So for example, I was going to Oklahoma City a couple of years ago, right? I was about to fly in and I looked at Google Trends and saw that the topic that people were talking about, the number one topic was Ariana Grande. And I was like, why is Oklahoma City talking about Ariana Grande? So when I got into my Lyft vehicle afterwards, the Lyft driver picked me up and we were headed to Bricktown, and I said, okay, I've got to know what you know about Ariana Grande. And he said, oh my gosh, they've cordoned off a lot of places in Bricktown. They're rerouting everything. People are mad because they can't find parking spaces. It's really a mess. And she has a sold out concert tonight. I already knew that from just looking at Google Trends. Well, imagine you do that around your business, your industry, okay? Imagine that you do that around your competitor to find out what words people are using to find your competitor's business, to search your competitor's business. So you can look at relevant products. For example, I was working with a veterinarian in Corpus Christi, and in Corpus Christi, the number one search term that day was cheapest veterinarian in Corpus Christi. So that's Corpus Christi, Texas. And he wasn't the cheapest, but he knew that's where people are looking. Remember what I said earlier about fish where the fish are? It's really a lot of time, energy, and money to get people to look somewhere that their eyeballs aren't already. But if they're here searching for the cheapest veterinarian in Corpus Christi, what he did is he did all of his social posts, he did a quick YouTube video, and then he also did a blog saying, we're not the cheapest veterinarian in Corpus Christi, but here's why. And he gave the top 4 reasons why they loved your dog like they were a family member and why you needed to see them. So he was able to be visible where people were looking and show up on their radar. This is what you can do with Google Trends. You can find what people are talking about in your area, around your industry, around your competitor. You can find out relevant products. He was able to go in and see people were talking about flea collars and flea dip or flea medicine and solution. So they can find out whether or not that's what they need. That was the topic relevant to them. He didn't have to worry about, man, what am I going to post on social today? And hope that eyeballs were going to look at it. He knew that people were searching this out. And you can see things in Google Trends like what's trending right now, what's been popular for a long time, what's on the increase, what's a breakout. In fact, I like to use breakout terms that people are searching for. This means they're just starting, that momentum starting to actually show up, that people are searching for this. I actually like to use that in my Google ads because Google doesn't see them as popular yet, so they don't cost me as much for Google ads, but there's something on the rise. So I know I'm gonna get some eyeballs that way. You can also look at seasonal trends. Maybe you're not familiar with this business and you don't realize that, you know, it really slows down in the summer, or maybe when everybody's excited about Black Friday and the whole holiday season. That's just not your sweet spot. So you can look and see seasonal trends and you can plan. You can also look for keyword freshness. Maybe it's time to update your site. Remember what I said is number 2 in Google's algorithm. Yes, Jamie, it's in real time. You can get as close as the last hour, the last 4 hours. You can look at the last few days, the last week, the last 30 days. You can look at the last quarter, 6 months, year, since 2004 when Google started. You can look all the way back. What's so nice is that you can keep your content fresh now. Remember what I said about your prominence score? When was the last time you updated your site? Imagine if people were really buzzing and talking about this in your community. You can also monitor your competitors. You can see what's trending on YouTube, so you can look and see overall what people are searching for. But let's say you're going to do a YouTube video. Find out what's trending right now and see if that's relevant to your industry or your competitor, and how can you get some of those eyeballs looking at you. And then you can also see shopping trends. Maybe you're in a business that's not seasonal, but it's got a longer buying cycle. You know, people buy homes. It's a much bigger cycle. They don't just do that every year. So you could start doing this. And is using the Google business profile or just using g.co/address? No, you don't need your business profile for this. This is 100% free, Google Trends. You'll go to g.co/trends to access this. There it is right there at the very corner. Sorry, I overlooked that. But you'll go to Google there, and you don't have to have, you don't have to at all have your Google business profile. You don't even have to have a Google account to use this. It's 100% free. Now, why do I like to be logged into my Google account when I do this? Because I actually go in and I'll work with a business and I'll search for 3 of their competitors. So when you're looking at Google Trends, you can bring up several searches, and I like to save those because I'm using this little save icon there and share icon. I like to go back to that every morning, having my cup of coffee. I can look to see what is trending around a competitor and decide whether or not I'm going to create content around that. Does that make sense? Now, for example, we were working with a pizza shop, and I love this because he really felt like that people were they're wanting a different flavor of pizza, and they were wanting a better price. But what he found out in Google Trends is for his community that people were talking about farm fresh vegetables. They were talking about the local farmers market. That's what was buzzing right there in his community. It just opened up, had the freshest stuff, really fun. They were putting a lot of good activity, making it a community event and community destination. So what he decided to do was, instead of putting some random pizza out there, and instead of just lowering his price, because it's not always the lower price, everybody, that gets everybody, what he did is he went to a couple of local farmers. He decided to do business with them, and he featured their vegetables on his pizza, and he let everybody know, you know, Miss Mary's farm, Miss Amber's farm right here, we are featuring these homegrown, locally owned, farm, fresh to table vegetables on our pizza. So you can make some really cool business decisions when you have this kind of information, and it's free, right? All right. So let's talk about design and usability, right? So Bonnie, that's to me been the favorite, is just to see how people use it. It's so unique to see how businesses take something that to me is a great tool and then just make it amazing, because you love how they apply it. So I love when I get to see these in action. That's to me my favorite part. That's the harvest, I tell everybody. That's the cool part of what I do. So fast load time. It's really important that your site loads fast. And this is why. Because we are on a mobile device, so you need to measure how long it takes. And if it takes longer than 4 seconds, you will lose over half, 53% of your traffic. You could be working your butt off on social. You're posting on Instagram, you're doing some great reels, you've got TikTok going, maybe you're tweeting out, maybe you're doing Facebook posts, you did a Facebook Live. But if people come to your site, so it's driving them to your site, and it takes more than 4 seconds to load, you'll lose 53%, over half of your traffic. And for every second over, you'll lose another 10%. That's really hard when you work so hard, and sometimes you even pay through ads, and you're just paying with your blood, sweat, and tears to get people to come to your site. And if it takes longer to load, they'll just go down the road to another person that will at least have their site loading fast. So it's really important that your site loads on a mobile device in 4 seconds or less. You also need to know what it looks like on all browsers. Some of us are using Safari, some use Brave, some of us use DuckDuckGo, some of us use Google Chrome, some use Firefox. Again, you need to know, and you also need to use these resources to check that. So let me show these resources to you next. And again, you're going to get a copy of today's slides. If you've commented in the question box, make sure you comment now or anytime after. And then also you'll get a copy of the recording from today. But again, it's going to be in the morning, so do not tomorrow. So please don't think I forgot about you. If you made a comment here, I've not forgotten about you, and whatever email you registered with is who's going to get that. Okay, so you can measure and test your site speed. You go to g.co/testmysite. And what you're going to do there is you're going to enter your website address. This is a 100% free tool, and you do not have to be logged in, but you'll want to be logged in to get a report. Okay, so that's the only benefit. You'll get the initial amount showing how long, how slow, or how fast your site is. It'll let you know immediately how many seconds. But then what will happen is if you are logged into your Google account, so Gmail is a free Google account, your personal Gmail will work. And then also if you just want a free Google account, you could do that. But what will happen next is then you can get a report. It will show you what's slowing down your site, and even better, how to fix it. I love that because my son's my webmaster, so I know nothing about what to do online to make changes. I'll spend hours what he can do in 2 minutes. So I just take that report, I forward it to him, and I say, here, fix all this so we can be faster. That's what you can do too. You can work with whoever's doing your website, be it yourself. You can use it as a checklist or send it to an agency or a freelancer you're working with, and you've got this. Absolutely, you are going to get that because you've commented there, Kevin. So you're all good to go. So this is a site. You might want to take a screenshot of this just so you can go test it right away. You might be doing it right now while I'm talking, right? Then remember what I said about the library. This is the door to the library. It's called Google Search Console, right? So you'll go to g.co/search console. That's the door to the library. Now, for those of you who've been in marketing for a long, long time, you may know this tool as Google Webmaster Tool. That's what it was called before. It's changed in the last 2 years. It is now Google, or actually 3 years. It's now Google Search Console. So that's what you're looking for here. But let me give you a hint. Right? And I'm not going to talk about this here because we don't have time in this webinar, but there's a free tool called Google Analytics. And we do a whole webinar on how you can make better decisions using Google Analytics. But what you need to do to make this easy for you to connect your site to Google Search Console, so this lets Google know you own the website. This is how you verify it with Search Console, is actually set up Google Analytics first, link that to your site. When Google Search Console sees that you already have Google Analytics there, it will immediately verify. You don't have to go through any other verification process. Once you do that, this is the door to the library. This is where you enter your website. This is where you can see. So Google Search Console lets you know what Google and any other search engine sees about your site. Also, Google Analytics lets you know what people do on your site, so how your site's performing. And that's why I love to teach that, because it helps you as a small business owner get more bang out of your buck because you know exactly what's working on your site. So to try this out, what you'll do is you'll go to google.com and you'll see where your business shows up. I'll show you that in a minute, but if you want the list of how to do this, so this is the how-to, how you can search, but I'll show you at the very end exactly how you can look for this quickly, okay? If you stay with me. Again, if you need to go, I understand, okay? Any questions? Because we've covered quite a bit right now, right? Anything that was an aha, something that you're thinking, oh my gosh, this is really meaningful to me and I need to do something with this? Would love for you to let me know in the question box, okay? Now, for some of you who were here earlier, the Google Library, right? Jamie, a lot of people just don't know that, and I'm surprised. Even when I was in business, gosh, I mean, I'm still in business, but when I first became a part of the Google team, I barely knew about the Google Library, and I have been using Google tools forever. Okay, so yeah, the four second, that's all you've got. Absolutely. G.co trends, one of my favorites. I need to boost my Google juice. Hard to, none of my searches. Oh, absolutely. So Sabrina, you can use some of the keywords you find in Google Search Console. Website upload speed, absolutely. I use Google Workspace. Okay, Google Workspace, you can access it too, but you don't have to have Google Workspace to access any of the tools I'm sharing here. So, But Amber, if you need help with that, let me know at the end so I can help you with that, since that's different than what we're talking about now, but I still want to address your question. Or again, reach out to the Google partner who invited you, because they have access to the Google team and all the Google tools just like I do, but they're more accessible and they really are wanting you to be successful. So the Google profile we did talk about. Does anybody, the Google business profile, need me to spend any amount of time on this? Let me know in the question box, because I don't want this to be a repeat for everybody that was just in that webinar. But if you were not in that webinar, let me know, and I can let you know how you can use this. The big reminder here is that you can update your business info, make sure you're matching what people are searching. You can add photos and videos. The video length is the same that you would post if you were doing an Instagram video, so you could use whatever you're posting in your story here. And then you can also, depending on your category, make things alive, like the ability to book you, so they can book and schedule, they can see your products, they can see your services. Oh yes, for Google Trends, it is, let me go back. So everybody close your eyes, because this is going to flash in front of you for a minute as I go back a few slides. I'll tell you when I'm there. There you go. Okay, everybody open your eyes now. Google Trends, it's g.co/trends, okay? Hope that's helpful to you, Tammy. If I register now and something comes up and not open in 90 days, can we push that back? Absolutely, because once you verify that you're the owner, you're golden. You can push it back, move it ahead, whatever you need to do. You have total control because you've shown to Google you're the owner, okay? I stumbled upon the webinar in accident. I'm excited. Oh, absolutely. Oh, I'm so excited. Thank you. I'm glad it's helpful to you, because that's really what this is all about, making sure that you can become successful. You have access to these tools and you may never have known that or how to use them well. Okay. All right. Let's go back to the business profile. Everybody close your eyes again. Let me go two more slides. One more line, three slides. All right. You can put posts in. These are updates. Those stay live and visible for 5 business days on Google Search and Maps. Reviews are always visible there, so manage those reviews. And then messages. And remember, if you weren't here earlier, what I was explaining to people, respond to your reviews. This is really important. Say thank you for a good review. That's how you can stand out. And then also, if you get a negative review, have a response ready that shows that you're listening to anybody else that may stumble across you and be evaluating whether or not they'll do business with you, because people do evaluate by the reviews that they read and whether the business responds, okay? So do have that ready and available to you. And then of course, messages, you can turn that on. It's nice because people are texting right away and they expect immediate response, but that's the key. It needs to be an immediate response. If you're going to take a while to respond, don't turn this on, because you're just going to make somebody angry and not even realize that. You're still busy doing business, taking care of your customers, and you don't realize they're angry because it's gone past 2 hours or 3 hours when they're expecting a response. So this is a quick how-to for those who were not here at the very beginning or the first webinar. All you need to do is do a screenshot here and it will walk you through how to do this. But I'm happy to go over it with anybody. If you want to stay after, I can go over it briefly. I'm happy to do that for you. All right. Any questions? All right, because you guys heard me say that before. It's not just knowledge, it's applied knowledge. What can you do to apply what you've learned today to help you grow your business and to be able to shortcut you being able to have the cash flow that you need? Can you add reviews from the BBB? No, Veronica, you cannot add reviews. So the big thing about Google reviews is there is a confirmation process to make sure they're actual solid reviews. Nobody can just flood the reviews or put fake reviews in. Everybody has to have a Gmail account to be able to leave a review, or a Google account. So having a free Google account works. Or a free personal Gmail, but they have to have an account to be able to leave it. So there needs to be some verification there, and that's why you can't just share that. Now, what would be smart to do, and what I encourage people to do, is take their Google reviews and showcase that on your website. The same thing with your BBB reviews. In fact, if you want to use those in your social post, what happens is when people see a review, they remember, oh, I was going to leave you a review and I forgot. Now this reminded me to do that. And those are good reminders because they see other people are doing it, and it helps them with the words, because sometimes people just think you're fantastic, but they don't remember, they don't really know how to formulate the words they want to use to tell everybody how great you are. Okay, great questions. All right, any other questions? Let me know in the question box, okay? Now, I am going to go one more video in, all right? So again, we're going to switch a little bit here, but you've got to hear from this woman because I love her story. And let me switch real quick. I'll check with you to make sure you can hear me after we make the switch. Let me go here. There she is.
Everybody likes jam. Who doesn't like jam? Seriously, I dream about flavors. Trade Street Jam Company makes low-sugar vegan jams for pretty much everything under the sun. Honey, do you know how many things you can do with this jam? You can make cocktails, you can put on roasted meats or veggies, oatmeal. The uses are endless. I've been a chef for about 15 years. I needed something fun to do after work. I'm not a big TV watcher. I would stop at this store on the way home, grab a bunch of fruit, anything weird and exotic that they had, and I start cooking. I start jamming. Too much? You don't like the puns?
Do you like the bananas, honey? Yeah.
My husband is my test dummy, I guess you can say.
You want some more?
You like mommy's cooking?
When I started Trade Street, I was selling on another e-commerce platform, and we were also selling a lot of jam in person. But COVID hit and all the markets shut down, which freaked me out. I'm already scared about being a new mommy. And then on top of that, I'm worried about the life of my business. People started ordering specialty food online, so we immediately had to pivot and focus all of my efforts on selling online. When people go on Google and they search jam or jelly, I want them to be able to find my brand. With Google Ads, they can type those things in and I pop up. You guys, that's huge. Being able to sell on our website, it really did save us. I couldn't imagine going back to not using Google products. We went from making 2,000 jars every 2 months to making 2,000 jars every 2 weeks. Our sales increased by 1,000%. It was crazy. I've hired 4 or 5 different contractors. Hiring feels amazing. I think it's so important for our product to have a story behind it. I think when people see a woman behind the brand, a person of color, it just really adds something to that jar other than jam.
Oh, you kiss mommy? You kissing mommy?
I want Zola to be able to grow up and look at me and say, my mom did that. I wouldn't trade that for the world.
All right, let me see here. There we go. Some people said that the volume went out. It may be that you had to switch to a different volume source. That happens sometimes. Unfortunately, I don't control that. That's definitely the browser, and some said it was laggy. Apologize for that. I'm showing good connection here, but again, I don't control the internet, so I apologize that you might have missed some of that. But what she was talking about is how she used Google Ads to help promote and amplify. I kept pausing. I'm so sorry about that. Because it's also broadcasting from another server when they use this, because I have to upload the video. So it's not just mine. There's a whole lot of servers that pause. Okay, very spotty. I'm sorry to hear that. Well, let me give you the gist of it, okay? Because I do want to show you how and why you can use Google Ads for free, but different area of it, not the actual ads, okay? So that's different. The ads you have to pay for. But when you have Google Ads, it will show up on our partner sites. So there's over 2,500 different partner sites. You can decide where your ad's going to show up, where you're getting the most bang for your buck. And you can also decide what your ad's going to showcase. So you can highlight if you want to highlight a certain jam. And by the way, in her story, oh good, Melissa, I'm glad that it worked all well for you. In her story actually came from another Google trainer who happened to find her in a webinar, and she shared her story. So for you, I'm just going to put that challenge out there. You're going to be able to tell your actual Google partner or email me, because you'll have my email address. If you have a story to talk about how Google made a difference in your business, let me know and I'll submit it to the Google team. I actually was physically in Ada, Oklahoma doing a presentation, and there was a massage therapist there, and I had a chance to share her story with the Google team. They sent a professional team out to do her video and everything, and she showed up on google.com, and to the Google site, and talk about name recognition, volume of traffic to her site, great search engine optimization. She had it all because that happened. I can't say I do that for everybody, but I can at least share your story and the Google team will choose from there, and I can at least put you in the running. So let me know, okay? But it's really exciting to see what you can do with Google Ads. So let's talk a little bit about Google Ads, and I'll walk you through this again because it's not free, but I'm going to show you the free sections that would be helpful to you. So you could go to g.co/ads. That's what you'll do, and there's what's in there is what's known as smart campaigns. So what a smart campaign is if you've never done an ad before, Google is pulling from other people in your industry and looking for what actually performs best in your industry, and it's making that suggestion. It's artificial intelligence helping you to organize this so you're getting a little bit more bang for your buck. But as you heard me say earlier, if you're not measuring, you're not marketing. You have to measure. So don't set this and forget it. It's really important to manage it if you decide to do Google Ads. To set up a smart campaign, this is what it looks like. So you'll go through a checklist and really decide what it is you want to market. Okay? Now, I encourage you to set up ads to use some of the free areas of ads, and you are going to go through this process here. So what you'll see in front of you is you will see the ability to set your goals. This is really important. I'm not going to spend a lot of time here because we do a whole other webinar about how to make Google Ads work for you. I'm not going to talk about that, but I'm going to talk, you'll be presented with these 3 goals. Choose the one that is most relevant to you. You're not going to pay for this at all. The only time you pay for an ad is when it goes live and somebody clicks on it. That's why it's called PPC, pay per click, or CPC. If it's not a click, it's a call. People call you from your ad, then it's cost per call. So that is how you pay for your ad. You don't pay for it just if it's there and visible. So you don't pay for impressions. A lot of marketing companies, agencies, and a lot of traditional media, broadcast media will talk about impressions. This is not impressions that you pay for. You pay for actual clicks. And then if you are going to be using your Google My Business account, so here it says Google My Business, but it's actually been changed to Google Business Profile, use this to link that together because it confirms to Google that you are who you say you are, your information is valid and relevant, and it actually will cost your ads less when you connect all your Google tools. All right, now you'll enter the business name. You can go through the smart campaigns is really what I say the ad libs of, or the mad libs of advertising because it'll walk you through. It's pretty intuitive. You just fill it out as you're going along. You can also decide and see what it would look like as your ad comes up. You can choose photos to put in your ad. You can choose exactly what your headlines are. Just remember the word count right there. Those are character counts actually for your words. So that's all you have is you have 30 characters that you can actually put there. A character is an alphabetical letter, a space, a grammatical. Okay, so a grammar, actual, what do we call it? A grammatical mark. I'm just blanking on what it's called. But all of those count as a character. So you only have 30 characters. So you will have to be super succinct and specific. But here's the key. Because it is picking up from your category, you can go to this and do this 100% free and get here and see what keywords Google suggests. So not only can you go to Google Trends to see what's trending, you can see around your industry and your category what Google artificial intelligence is recommending as far as keywords. You can use this and use this in your organic. You don't even have to pay for ads. Just go in there, look at the different keywords. You can even look at the keyword volume, which is what I like to do. Let you know how many people are searching for that. It'll let you know whether or not, if you do start doing ads for that, if you can earn and get 98% of the volume looking at you, which is really great. That's what you want your Google ads to do. But you can use this organically and even in your socials to make sure you have the right keywords so you're showing up on the first page of Google search. And then also, if you're doing an ad, you can decide to add some of these other keywords in that it recommends, or you can even take them out. That's a negative keyword, and that way you don't have to worry about, let's say that one of the words is Walmart, and you have a product, you have a jam, but you don't have a jam that you sell at Walmart, so you don't want to pay anybody clicks on Wall Street jam or Wall Street jelly, or Walmart, I'm sorry, Walmart jelly or Walmart jam. You don't want to pay for that because that's not where you market at. Then you can also advertise specifically to different zip codes and zones, which is what I like, because if Google Business Profile is telling me that most of my business is 79707, then I'm going to target my ads there too, because until I'm getting all the business I can from that, I'm going to keep focusing and showing. If I know that for every ad I show that, you know, I might spend $5 and it turns into $100 and the whole cost was $5, I made $95 every time somebody bought, I'll do that all day long. And I don't mind putting $100 towards it if I know that's going to mean that, you know, it's going to turn out into $95 for each dollar spent. I don't mind doing that at all. It's paying for itself. Then you can set the budget. I like to tell people to use the AI suggested budget first, because this will get you the volume that you need, the eyeballs looking at it. And then after 3 days, go back in and check to see which is actually driving money or getting your conversions, getting that successful thing that you want people to do on your site, that it's actually doing that, okay? Now you can also go in here and make sure everything's okay. Just like everything else in Google, I always tell people double check your work. You just do not want to go through the time and energy it takes to try to redo work when it's in the process of being reviewed. And now you can start measuring it. You can look at different variations. You can schedule your ads. You can connect it to Google Analytics and find out when somebody comes from ad, what page do they go on your website? What do they do from there? Do they stay on your website and look at another page, or do they click off and do they go to a competitor site? Which competitor? You can see all of that. So this is what I love doing. I'm a data geek and data nerd at heart, and I like taking that to apply to how can you grow your business. So you can edit and pause also your ads anytime, but this is how you can freely use it, is just to go through and look at the keyword theme and keyword volume, how many people are actually searching for that word, and that gives you another insight that you might not see in Google Trends, and it's 100% free. Plus, once you've connected all the Google tools together, it's just lifting you up further or higher in Google, because it's confirming to Google you are who you say you are. Make sense to everybody? All right. Now I'm going to recap and give you some free resources too. So we're going to go over that, but I do want you to think about what's the one thing that you're going to apply, because I am very much somebody who likes to make sure that you're getting something out of your time. Time is more valuable than money. We all only have 86,400 seconds in a day, so I do want to make sure this is an investment for you. What are you going to apply or add to your to-do list, or what was meaningful to you? And was I helpful to you? I'd love to know that too. But as we recap, we talked about how you can show up on Google and where you can get some really good visual real estate, really positioning you as an expert at what you do. We talked about also the next steps is to go to these sites. So you might want to take a screenshot of this, just this, because you're not going to get the slides and the actual recording of today's webinar till tomorrow. So maybe you want to do this tonight already. So take a screenshot of this. These are all the sites that I talked about today that you can go explore that are 100% free, other than the Google ads, and that's really just running the ads. Playing in Google ads, connecting it, using the free tools in there, you can use it and not pay a thing. This is, of course, everything else that if you didn't like it in that format, take a screenshot of this. This is a good one to hold on to. Let me see. I've created a whole brand new to-do list. Oh, that's awesome. I'm so glad it was helpful to you. Yay. This is what I love to hear. Thank you. Giving me a little bit of a bright spot to my day too. This makes my day when this happens. Sabrina, oh, I'm so glad it was helpful. The training, Google Analytics, yes. Chantel, I'm a huge fan of Google Analytics. So maybe, you know, sometime with Community Action Agency, I can come back and do the make better business decisions with analytics, because I'd love to show you what that does. Again, it's a free tool. So this is a great screenshot to get started, because I gave you a lot to get started with today. Plus we had the first webinar talking about your Google business profile. Every quarter, we do a free on air that you can go online and register for. It's topics that are pertinent to right now. So it's always updating every quarter. There is a free app, okay? So if you go here to this app, it's called Google Primer, and it is on iPhone, so through the App Store, or on Android through the Google Play Store. You can download Google Primer. You just need internet access to download it. Once it's on there, every day it's delivering marketing lessons to you. So while my degree and my advanced degree are actually in marketing, I learn something new about this all the time. And I learn it while I'm in the line in my kiddo's school. I also learn it while I'm waiting for the dentist to see the dentist. I learn it when I'm just got some downtime and I'm surfing and wanting to learn something new. So it's all there for you. And then, of course, you heard me talk about this at the very beginning, about where you can find information. If you go to google.com/grow, whether you're a teacher, whether you're a small business, whether you're a veteran deciding to transition into the world of work, or you're deciding to start a business, maybe you're a developer and learning about coding, you'll go here to this website. This is where your Google partner, the Community Action Agency of Oklahoma City, goes, and they can help support you here and let them know what you'd like to learn more of, because that's what they want to do. They want to help you grow your business. When you're successful, the community's successful, we all win, right? So think about what you're going to take action with today. Because as I told you earlier, my friend Joe says, knowing the tomato, the knowledge is knowing that the tomato is a fruit, but applied knowledge is not putting it in the fruit salad. So what's on your to-do? I'd love to know. Essential to businesses? Absolutely. There are so many small businesses that struggle with this because people approach them and want you to pay for these things. And these are absolutely 100% free. Now you can pay somebody, let's say for your Google business profile, you can pay somebody to take video for you. You can pay somebody to take photos for you. You can even take somebody to write the content because maybe you don't feel comfortable writing about your business, or that's not your strength, or you're just busy. But know what you're paying for. The tool itself is 100% free. Please do not fall for the scams. I know a lot of unscrupulous marketing agencies, they've even called me and saying that they're Google calling you. It's not Google calling you. Saying that if you don't pay $2.99, $3.99, $4.99 a month, you could lose your listing, is what they'll call it. It is your Google business profile. That's the correct name. And you won't lose it. That belongs to you and it's 100% free. But you can pay people to help you make it even better, okay? All right, great, 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 essential, absolutely. All right, what questions do you have before we finish up? We are at time, and I want to give a huge shout out to the Community Action Agency of Oklahoma City. You guys rock. Jolene, my gosh, Bonnie, you made sure that what people needed, it seems to resonate because I'm getting so much good feedback here in the question box. And so this is what they wanted. You delivered it to them. That's awesome. And you also made sure they knew about it. So the Google partners do all the heavy lifting here. They really are the unsung heroes of all of these Google webinars, okay? Absolutely. Thank you to them. Absolutely. And thank you to everyone. If you want to stay and me to show you what Google sees about you in the library, I'm happy to do that, okay? But use the slides, today's copy of slides, as your outline because it'll show you how to enter things in the library. You can also go to YouTube and go to the Google channel, look for quick help on how to use Google Search Console because that's the door to the library. Absolutely. I'm happy to answer. I'll answer those in just a moment. I just want to make sure as everybody signs off because we're a minute past time and I want to be respectful. So I want to say thank you to the Community Action Agency of Oklahoma City. Thank you very, very much. And I want to encourage each of you to come back to another webinar, utilize them as a resource, reach out to them. They're your Google partner there for you. And also stay safe, stay healthy, wash your hands, everybody, because it's just good hygiene. And I look forward to seeing you in future webinars. And those of you who have questions that want to hang with me, feel free to. I am happy to do that. Let me turn off the recording.